Hey, 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 all you happy lost souls. First thing I want to say is thank you all for the continued support. We're very, very close to hitting our 1,000 subscriber mark. And remember, when that occurs, I'll be releasing the last free Sapphire giveaway video. It'll show the stones that I'm going to give away for free in this contest, and it'll be your last opportunity to leave a comment. Anybody who has commented on any of the free Sapphire videos, the last 3 ones posted for the second Sapphire giveaway, will automatically be enrolled for free into the contest via their YouTube handle. I will take the handles of everyone that left comments on those videos, put them into a hat, and we'll have a separate video a few weeks after the announcement to draw the winner. And then I'll ship it for free to wherever you want. Now, if you're outside the United States, it's going to be a little more difficult because of cost, but I'll figure a way. So, anyways, this is an unfunded channel, as many of you know. I hope one day that it'll grow enough to become funded, and once it does, the video quality will get better. So I do apologize for some of the videos on the channel being a Blair Witchy style point of view, shot with a cell phone. So more so listen to the videos for the content. But I wanted to kind of do a video. I've done a few videos like this to help people that want to get into this hobby figure out a few hacks in order to find good places to look for ancient artifacts, ancient human activity, and even possibly gemstones. The first tip I would suggest to anybody who wants to rock hound or gemstone hunt in an area is to pull up geological surveys for your area. See what the geological survey says. Is it an area that is metamorphic, where there's tons of heat and pressure and metamorphic processes going? Places that have Miocene gneiss and schists and different granites and quartzites that were cooked and shaped under different processes and pressures from the earth. Is your area contain mainly igneous or volcanic rock, or does it contain mainly sedimentary layers? You find a lot of gemstones in metamorphic upticks because the metamorphic layer of the earth, if you think of like rock that is not quite lava yet, it's like plastic. It's heated up to the point where it's pliable and can bend. And what happens is it upticks and it comes out when two plates come together and squeeze this up into the surface of the earth. And what happens is when this superheated putty or plastic like rock comes up to the surface and gets exposed to air, all kinds of other elements and rare minerals will form. So find out what's in your area and what you could find before you go out looking, because a lot of minerals, a lot of metals, and a lot of gems form in areas near one another or in patterns. Like we know, for instance, there's a ton of sapphire and a lot of garnet and things on my channel that I find. Rubies, sapphire, garnets, that kind of stuff, corundums. We know what is needed to form that. Schist and metamorphic rock containing large amounts of aluminum, because all that gemstone is aluminum oxide. So you need aluminum, oxygen, and the right geological forces in order to create that material or that mineral. Does your area contain kimberlite or kimberlite pipes? Kimberlite is an ore that contains diamonds. Figure out what ore contains the gemstones that you're after. Artifact hunting is a whole different thing. Now, my main method for artifact hunting is walking meandering streams. And meandering streams that are all tidal, because I don't want to get in trouble for rock hounding. And there's massive gray areas in the laws when the water is tidal, opposed to not being tidal. So check out the laws of your area. Do not dig, do not underbank, do not do anything that is destructive to the environment. You will get caught. You're not allowed to do that. You can pick up surface fines from creek deposits. As long as the water's tidal, there's nothing anyone can really do about it, even if they say they can. But anyways, one of my major tips is not just going and looking any random place, but finding areas of past industrial use. The quarries that the colonial people used were the same quarries that the ancients used. These were used over and over and over again. That's how we can find dating material. We can see when these quarries were active, when they weren't. And then that tells an interesting story in itself. A lot of these quarries were active well before 12,000 years, and then right around 12,000 years, human activity stops for several thousand years before it starts again. So there's obviously some sort of catastrophe. But these industrial sites, the thing you want to look for, you'll notice this if you start paying attention a little bit. Anytime you cross a bridge that's going over a creek, look to your right and left around that crossing point. You'll notice something that I call ghost trees. A ghost tree is a very bright white tree. It's actually a sycamore tree. These sycamore trees will grow around the areas of these quarries for a multitude of reasons. They were used in the past because there wasn't electricity, so these trees really stood out and they marked areas when you're walking in darkness or you're walking through an area. They're directional points, visual directional points. In the colonial times, they were used to mark property lines. Usually, one was planted at each corner of a property line, the front corner, the rear corners. So if you notice a group of these massive ancient sycamore trees growing in a triangulated fashion, but there's nothing in the center of them, you can kind of assume that there used to be an old farmstead or home there. The reason you see them growing around the ancient quarry sites as well is because sycamores are the first tree to grow back after trees are cleared from an area. So man comes in, they clear trees for their industrial processes, to make boats, to use the mineral, to get them out of the way, to quarry more stones. And these trees, they have a unique property because sycamore trees are a species of fig tree, and they're actually even they're related to maple trees. These sycamore trees were worshipped by the natives for a multitude of reasons, but they also bolt, which means like if a fresh branch is broken off and lands in between a creek, in between rocks along a creek, it'll take root and grow a tree. Or if the spiky little seed pods that contain some poison, you don't want to be messing around and eating them, they just float down the creek and then they'll nestle themselves into a rocky outcropping along the creek, and these things will root anywhere. The soil can be terrible, and they'll grow fine. So I look for these massive ghost trees when I go out looking, and more times than none, there's always incredible things around these trees. There's incredible deposits, and it's a good starting point to find ancient quarry sites along creeks. And this doesn't just apply to my area. I've seen this in almost every creek I've crossed along the Northeast, and every crossing point that isn't a creek where a bridge might have used to be or a mill used to have been. These were meeting areas. These were areas that you could build. There's bedrock, or there are good areas in the creek that are shallow that were crossing points, or there are areas where ore was exposed and the material was exposed. These quarry sites that I find are massive. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of discarded old stone tools, hammers, picks, preforms, chipping, flaking. Just so happens in my area, the material a lot of these Native Americans were using to make their tools was very unique and is classified as a gemstone. So a lot of the tools were made out of this corundum or aluminum oxide. Thus, they didn't need the same fluting technology. This is a very Solutrean method of making tools, which is who I believe was utilizing this material. So if you find the artifacts or stone tools in your area are made out of the same materials, harder, durable, more robust materials, and they're valuable, and start looking around the surrounding area, because they were making the tools there and they were using the materials at their disposal. So look for ghost trees. Another thing is something called trail trees or hoot owl trees or bent trees. Bent trees are a little more rare. I have a couple of them that I found that weren't even listed on the trail tree map, because a lot of them are famous, well-known trees, and they're purposely bent over time. They were done by ancient people, Native Americans. They were done by colonial members. They're used by secret societies like the Knights of the Golden Circle to bury treasure deposits. They're used as markers to find trails. They're used to delineate high ground from swampland. And interestingly enough, they're also placed in areas where there are secret subterranean entrances or areas that are rich in ore. These are the correlations when they find these bent trees to sites nearby. A lot of people think it has something to do with the mining and quarrying activity. I believe because of all the legends of the lost silver mine in my area, and there being a lot of silver, lead, mercury, gold mixed into a lot of the limestone in the area, and then me researching these ancient silver mines and where they may be, that's when I stumbled across some of these collapsed entrances, and I found where a lot of these mines are based on using things like stone markers, things like the bent trees, the ghost trees. Look for other things like perennial industrial crops that are grown along the creek. I'm talking about things that were used for production. You'll see a lot of times hill cane or native bamboo and hemp growing at sites near these industrial or ancient quarry sites, because there were literally factories. You had your rope, your cordage, you had your bamboo for shafts, you had all of your hardwoods, you had pines for making pitches, you had everything at your disposal at these sites. And when these sites were cleared and the trees were chopped down and space was cleared out from the human activity, like I said, the first thing that's going to grow back are these sycamore trees, because of their resiliency to poor soil, their ability to bolt, and their ability to take root almost anywhere. So look for the ghost trees. Always go out hunting after a few days of rain. Let the water go down and subside, but in meandering creeks, this is the best time to look for fresh new artifacts. The way meandering streams work is they have to bend and make an S in order to create momentum enough to push themselves along and keep the current going. The Pennypack, the creek where I find a lot of stuff, is named Pennypack after Penapeka. It means deep, dead, dark water that flows backwards or that flows uphill. This creek was always seen as very unique because it's sprung from the earth from natural springs, and it flows uphill until it goes to the Delaware. So the reason this creek can flow uphill is because it forms these crazy big S's. And you'll see this same phenomenon happen if you follow a drip of water going down a window pane. You'll see that water zigzags, and it's from the rotation of the earth. This momentum drives the meandering stream, but what happens is at every one of these bending points, large deposits form where the creek has carried rocks and materials and sands and silicates and piled them up in heaps that look like nice sandy beaches or big stone-filled mounds along the creek. Every time the creek floods and recedes, new layers get flipped to the top, and new stuff gets kicked out from the bottom and pushed onto the surface. So you can find all kinds of cool stuff after rainstorms in meandering creeks. Look for efficacy, pattern. Are the same tools and shapes being made from the same material? Are there signs of good material, like things that they would like to make like artifacts and tools out of, like cherts, flints, quartzes, granites, things that were hard and robust, aluminum oxides? Where there proper things to make tools. The Native Americans also, and ancient people, loved to use soapstone because it was easy to shape and to carve. And you can see ancient people's fingerprints in them. I have a whole series of soapstone tools. I've gone through them in a previous video. These are all little tricks that I've learned to find stuff over the years. Most of my finds come from 6 or 7 deposits. That's it, total. You find the right places to go. The creek has done the work for you. It's collected everything for you. You just have to sift through it. Remember, follow the rules, use these tips, and happy hunting. I love you all. Please subscribe, comment, and don't forget, when we hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, a video will be up. It'll be your last chance to enter yourself for free in the free Sapphire contest. It's the second one I'm running. I already gave one away months ago when we hit 500 subscribers. You'll also, if you're the winner of this award or prize, you'll receive a special code that comes with the stone in the mail. This code is your free entry into the big contest, which will probably happen if I ever hit like 10,000 subscribers. And at that point, there'll be like 10 contests because it's every 1,000 subscribers. So there'll be the finalist of 10 people that'll get some major reward, like a PC or a gaming system or something really, really neat. So that's the future. Thank you all. Again, this channel just focuses on artifacts that I found, my theories on the ancient silver mines, the sapphire cultures that we find in southeastern Pennsylvania. It deals with discussing things that go against the paradigm in archaeology, like people being here 70 to 200,000 years ago instead of just 13,000 or 12,000 years ago in America. It's a good resource for beginner information on geological things, for rock hunting. I am just an amateur in archaeology and geology. I do have some college background in these fields. I have a minor in archaeological and anthropological studies. My major is in major degree is in psychological and behavioral studies. But I was always fascinated by this stuff, and I hope you enjoy, and stay tuned for more content. Love you all. Peace.